When your old career gives you lemons, throw in some ice, mix in some vodka, and call it a podcast. From the Mac of All Trades studio in Fairport, and driven by Victor Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, it's Billified, the Bill Moran Podcast.
Thank you for getting your pot on. Thanks for telling a friend. A little bonus episode here on a Friday because Kevin said, hey, do you want me to reach out to a friend of mine in Los Angeles? And I went, who the hell do you know in L.A.? Well, it turns out Kevin does.
It's Tom Hanks, spoiler.
That would be so funny if I like totally mocked you. It was like, who the fuck would you know? And then all of a sudden it's like some A-list celebrity. But it is an A-list celebrity. It's Arron Zober. Arron, how are you, sir?
Thank you. How are you?
I'm good. You and Kevin were college buddies, I assume, college radio station buddies?
Yes. Yeah. Back to 106 VIC at Ithaca College in Ithaca, New York. That was like, I can't believe that was actually 30 years ago because it feels like yesterday that we were doing that.
Wow. I know. Man, that 30 years goes fast, doesn't it?
And the campus is completely different now, too. I drove through it a couple years ago, and there's nothing that's the same.
That's what I hear.
So, Arron, you also do a podcast called The
Appropriate Omnivore, about best products in sustainable food.
The best. Okay. The Appropriate Omnivore. I like that.
Maybe it's something that can help you lose some of those elbows.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Maybe I could use some help. I could definitely use some help. So, Arron, the reason we wanted to talk to you was what's happening in Los Angeles in the fires.
Yes.
And maybe you can kind of paint us a picture right now as to what is happening and where are you in proximity to all the action?
Right. So I live in the neighborhood of Highland Park, which is a little bit south of Pasadena. So I'm not far from where the Eaton fire is. Fortunately, for me, I'm out of the evacuation area, and that's one of the major fires. I know there's also a major fire up in Santa Clarita, and the biggest one and what's often a site of the fires is Malibu. That's this is Palisades actually, which is next to Malibu, but that area on the coast often there's a lot of times fires in that area.
Yeah. How many years have you lived in LA?
Let's see. So I've lived in LA about 25 years now.
You miss Cleveland?
Oh, there's certainly parts of it I miss.
Oh, don't lie. What part? The weather?
The sport teams. I'm still a Cleveland fan.
Sure.
So
I
miss going to those games. I think that's probably the main thing.
Yeah. I would think the weather's got to be pretty significant where you are.
Yeah.
So with these fires, and as you started to say, I felt like you said, and correct me if I'm wrong, they're always up in Malibu.
Right. That area is a common area for the fires.
Because here's what I know a little bit about California. You get some big winds there. And here's the thing that I find all this really sort of frustrating because for the rest of the country, never having dealt with these kind of fires, like it's also your air quality. It affects beyond the people that are directly affected by the fire, right? There's a lot of and traffic, right? Just try getting anywhere, and now you've got roads closed, and LA's got some of the worst traffic on the planet. But,
yes, yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, the air quality is a very good point to bring up because even if you're in such as an area where I am, which is considered safe, you still have to look at the air quality. I recommend the site Purple Air. It gives a number of the quality, and you want to be in the low numbers, the green colors. So it's something that I've been paying attention to, and it's a little better today. But yes, wherever you are, there's the air quality, and this is something that I've known from living in Los Angeles for the time that I have, that even if you're not in the areas of the fires, I remember, this was like 20 years ago when there were, fires in Malibu, and I was working in the Valley, which was closer to Malibu than where I lived, and just being like the West Valley, one day seeing ashes just in the air from being in,
right. You go out and your car's covered.
Area.
Well, I just remember 2 summers ago when people were bitching here about the Canadian wildfires and the smoke, and it wasn't nearly as bad as I'm assuming what you guys are going through right now.
Not nearly as bad because he's so much closer. And when we would go out there, it smelled like
smelled like campfire.
Campfire, right? And your car was covered in ash and all that stuff. And that's how many miles away versus
that was in Western Canada.
Yeah, so it caught the jet stream and came a little east.
And it was an important thing that I learned actually from talking to a friend today who had to evacuate, sadly, from the Eden fire. She said that even when the fires are done, that they're still and even if the house is there, that there's work that needs to be done to the house because of the air and some of the ash that gets onto the house in that evacuation area.
Sure. Well, just in your vents and stuff, I mean, there's many layers to this, but the one that's sort of bothering me is for people outside of LA, the headlines that I'm seeing. It's so frustrating to me because there's one today, okay? And
did you do some research?
I didn't. No, I didn't do research. All I did was I would like to just see if we could logically think through this, okay?
It's 2025. That's not a chance of that happening.
Okay, but these are the things that really, really bother me. And then we can go to the other side because I guarantee these become political sides, and I don't really understand why. But there's a headline in the New York Post, okay? And I want to know how we cut through headlines like this. Thanks, but no thanks. LA Mayor Bass rejects FDNY's offer to help, despite not having enough firefighters to battle blazes still raging. Sources. That's what they say. So in other words, New York City has reached out with men who are ready to go and women who are ready to go fight the fires, and LA said no.
It might be too early to get more people in there.
Okay, here's the other thing. You're on the other side of the fucking planet. Why am I going to pay for that when I could probably go to Oregon, San Diego, or I could go to San Francisco and get those fire guys to come? Do you understand what I'm saying? Or Arizona. That's the stuff that I go, but of course it'll become, well, they don't want our help. I don't think that's it.
It's just bad that headlines have become what that Leno bit was years ago with the funny headlines.
Yes.
That's now our life.
I think they've been they've been like this for a while with the fires. I think of that Bad Religion song, which they released, I think, 20 years ago. Los Angeles is burning. There's the line, "I don't believe the media mecca. They're only trying to peddle reality."
Yeah.
And there's always been, that song really, actually, every year when there's fires, I always listen to it because I think it actually captures what happens with the fires. It says, flames are burning, cameras running.
Yeah.
It's just, you have a fire and the media wants to make any kind of story out of it.
Well, I can't say, this one seems like, you may want to warn some people because this got big and out of control. And now I think 2 people have been arrested for another fire that came up. It was arson, but it was further inland.
Is that the one James was talking about, the lighter and the hairspray?
Yeah. I think
that's the majority of these fires in California. They're often started by arson. Actually, is the interesting thing. And I also want to say, I don't want to give people the wrong impression. There is good information to get in the news about it, but you also have to be careful with everything. You hear.
But what is the NYPD being turned down, or FDNY being turned down? Have anything to do with what's actually happening out there?
That's a very weird one.
That's one, or the other headline that I saw that says L.A. just cut $17.6 million from the fire budget, and then this, and I go, hang on a second, hold on. I have no idea what the L.A. fire budget is, and I don't know what's allocated on what line. And
yes,
$17.6
very
million.
Good points. Yeah. It's actually not that much. And there's a lot. So I've actually I've seen so much about that, and many people, fortunately, with the benefits of social media, as we love to sometimes hate on social media, it's actually been a good community to discuss the truths of that. So apparently there was at one point there was a 17 million budget cut of a budget of 817 million. So
Thank
that's
you.
2%. Yeah. The other thing was that was only for a time that the budget was going to be cut, and then they actually ended up giving 50 million more. The other thing is this whole thing with Karen Bass being put at the center of it. Okay, so Karen Bass is the mayor of Los Angeles.
Yes.
And the thing is, there's the Los Angeles city limits where of the fires in there, the ones that were in Los Angeles city limits were the one in Studio City, which is really small and was put out. The one in Hollywood, which I believe also is now put out. the big ones, the Pasadena, Santa Clarita, and Pacific Palisades, none of those are in Los Angeles city limits. Those are not Karen Bass's areas.
Right.
They're LA Board of County Supervisors. The other thing is, a lot of these you look up, it says national forest. So it even falls out of county. It falls into like state parks and national parks. And so when you read between the lines, you realize that Karen Bass's actually involvement with this is kind of small, but it's easy to pin mayor of Los Angeles if you don't know the actual LA County and what are incorporated cities and what falls into city limits.
Like saying it's Malik's fault for a fire in Fairport.
Exactly. That's a great example, Kevin, because and I'm so glad that Aaron said that, because these are the things that are the headlines that have been really bothering me. That and the fact that then we're going to focus on I keep wanting to say Kevin Muir. It's ABC News.
David Muir.
David Muir.
Also an Ithaca College grad.
Oh, did not know that, fellas.
It's my roommate.
Congratulations.
We're brothers. We roomed together.
He had a clothespin holding his fire retardant jacket back, right? So people are saying ego, he wanted to look more svelte, his narcissist. And all I saw was a guy with no microphone in his hand, which means he has a lapel mic on, and those fire coats are noisy, and it's windy, and it's flapping around, and why not pin it? But I've never done TV, so I don't know. But I'm like, why are we focused on this and yelling about this over what? If you really want to get sort of political on this, here would be my thing, and I don't know, I would assume people are saying this. You mentioned, Aaron, that there are fires often in Malibu. Malibu can get some wild winds, really wild winds. There's also a homeless population that likes to hang out on the beach, and they'll, fall asleep with a cigarette somewhere, and the next thing you know, you got a wildfire. It's a recurring thing. So why are there still above ground power lines? I grew up in a really, really, very rural area in the 80s. And even then I was like, why aren't they putting them underground? We would lose power one time for a week. So these above line power lines, trees go down, and one of the first things to go over is going to be probably a telephone pole or a wire pole, right? I mean, because there's nothing there to hold it. I don't even know how deep in the ground it is. And then on top of that, once they're down, they could start a fire. Mm-hmm. And then how the hell is a fire truck going to get in there? Because that's live wires. Who's going in until you can figure out?
And there's a lot of, I've seen a lot of friends out in California that have no power right now. They're not really into fires, but
and I've and a couple times power's going on in my house. It's not been for long amounts, but I have witnessed power outages
during this fire, Aaron, or no?
Mm-hmm. Yes, during the fire. Yeah, it was yesterday and the night before. I had brief periods of power outages, and it's happened in different areas, different places, because we first were hearing about these, I believe, Tuesday. And I remember some people posting on Tuesday that they had power outages. And I know some people like my friend in the evacuation area for greater Pasadena area, she says that, the power is still out in her home. And that affects, because she has this big freezer outside with all these meats and stuff, and all that's gone.
Sure.
The other issue I've been seeing coming through is California's pushing for all electric, and a lot of electric cars out there. Hard to evacuate when you got no power to charge a car.
No power to charge a car. That's a great point. Now, I would say, because why do they want you to go to an electric car more than fossil fuel? What would be the main reason that they're pushing?
Well, I mean, cutting down carbon emissions.
There you go. Cutting down carbon emission because of global warming or planetary change. I
feel like it's pretty warm right now in LA.
No.
300-400 degrees.
But my point in saying that is, whether you're a climate denier or not, I always think we got to do what we feel is right by the planet, right? You got to be a good steward of the planet. Try to leave it better than you found it. Are things changing? It seems that way. There's also a country that doesn't have an EPA and just built another coal tower while we're talking, and that would be China. And so, it seems to circulate over time. Some of that air comes here. So I don't know how you're ever going to put that genie back in the bottle, but instead of blaming that stuff, why aren't we doing something to navigate? I'll use this example. I don't know, Aaron, how you feel about AI, but I'll often say you're never putting that genie back in the bottle, so you better find a way to adapt it to whatever you do so it doesn't run you over, right?
We do, yeah. Well, with AI, right. I mean, yeah, that's the big debate a lot. And there's a lot of benefits to AI. Yeah, certainly there's some issues with it, but I think overall the concept of AI is a good one.
Sure.
And yeah, we have to know how to work with it. It's not going away. We can't,
right. So
we have that with every technology. There's certainly people that would love to be all off of that, but we're not going back to the Flintstones age. We got to embrace technology and learn how to make the best use of all.
Okay. So that's sort of the same thing, I think, with global warming. Instead of blaming, why don't we find ways to work around the problems that we're saying are the fault of that? And I don't think anywhere has really done a good job of that, right? I mean, we could say what happened in New Orleans might have been, and then they had the engineers go down and rebuild the walls, and that seems to have saved a city that's below sea level, right? New Orleans.
Right.
But California, I was out there. I'm 53, and when I was 2 years old, my uncle lived in one of the canyons. He was a pilot for what was then Western Airlines, and they had a fire and it coming up the canyon. It didn't get as far as his house, but they were trying to make preparations for it and all. And I go, boy, that's 50-something years, and we're in a modern age. Why isn't something being done? Is it too hard to put the wires underground? Is there not? I mean, is there too much rock there? I don't know. I don't know any of this stuff. And I would think that there's got to be smart people, but sometimes it seems like we focus on the wrong stuff, and then we get these problems.
Well, I think a lot of fighting climate change is focused on the wrong thing. I mean, look, I own a plug-in hybrid. I have solar. I'm all for those, but as part of the Appropriate Omnivore blog, I'm a big advocate of what's known as regenerative agriculture, because this is more than just a reductionist idea of reducing the type of of like fossil fuels you use, reducing what you use. But regenerative agriculture is actually about tending to the land better, and a lot of actually forest fires are due to poor stewardship of the grasslands.
Right. Well, look, I would think even maybe there's poor stewardship of the forest in Los Angeles or the brush.
Oh, totally. Oh yeah. I mean, there's much ways we do. I mean, really, the process of regenerative agriculture would definitely reduce the forest fires if we have holistic grazing and just restoring the wildlife habitat, the use of water, all of that. That definitely needs to be done. And yeah, and I think the wires may fit into that too, because in terms of how having wires above where you have like wildlife and stuff is affecting it. So I think that's certainly what you're playing in affects it. Actually, this is something that I would like to explore actually in my podcast. So I think my blog would be interesting of how to like power lines affect like regenerative farming.
Do it, because I really wonder with all the look, there's a lot of smart people out there. You got a place called Stanford, and there's no idiots. Even at USC, there's research costs. Why are we not doing that sort of thing? And why is there a focus on, I'll keep reading articles or different things like, all they focus on is the high-speed rail. Well, I don't know if it's needed or not needed. I don't live out there, so I don't know who would use it and what commute, who it would benefit. Let me put it that way, right? You always want to have some value in something that you're bringing forth. I don't know, but I keep reading that millions of dollars to go into that. Well, why not take that money and clean up the forest or put these wires underground and maybe we can reduce the fires. You're never going to get rid of them, but maybe you can reduce them.
Reduce, right, exactly. And yeah, the high-speed rail, I mean, I think it's a good thing, but again, it's another reductionist approach. Well, cut down carbon emissions, less people driving in cars, they all do the high-speed rail. Well, that's great, but still, it's like, where's the focus on the actual land that we're living on, the dirt, the soil, everything goes into the earth, not just, instead of, a high-speed rail is reducing what we put, just the emissions we put into the earth. Right. But yeah, when, agriculture is very much going into the ground itself, we're not just, stopping something from going into the ground. We're going into it with what we do, with what we plant there.
Yeah. I think that probably we would say like New York State and California, blue versus red in terms of voting and things. But I always wonder when these things start to happen and you start to see maybe the people that you've elected not doing things like this, and you've lost your home. And now, I mean, look, I got to think environmentalists are going to be all over anybody coming back to their own property trying to rebuild. I got to think. And you're talking homes that have to be $12 million along the coast there in Malibu. I mean, they showed in the New York Post, there's one house that's still standing. Everything's burnt on the left. Everything's burnt on the right, like an entire row. And it's just their house. And it happens to be a guy who was a CEO of Waste Management. He was a lawyer and former head of Waste Management in Houston. The house is, I think he paid $9 million, said that it has a fireproof roof and a stucco exterior, and he thinks that's that. Plus, they went, I don't know how deep. I think he said they went 50 feet into the bedrock with the foundation, with the footers, and because of earthquakes. So they were trying to make it withstand earthquakes, and now it's the only home standing. But I go, who wants to go visit that? It's the most depressing, desolate place on the planet. Like, I'd be afraid to go. I'd want to sell it. But there's nothing around it anymore. There's nothing there. So
land's cheap. You've got a big backyard now. Put that new pool in.
I guess, but I'm going, anybody who comes back, right, you own that property. Maybe you've had that home in your family for generations. Who knows? I mean, if you get something like that, you want to hold on to it because that is some prime real estate.
Well, they said Mel Gibson's house went up while he was doing Rogan's podcast yesterday. He lost it.
Oh, shit.
And Paris Hilton's lost hers, but the upside of that is her recording studio's in there, too. So that helps out.
Yeah, Paris Hilton. Also, James Wood lost his home.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You see, but now if any of these people go to rebuild, it's a process.
They're just going to bungle over to their house in New York City for a while.
Well, I'm not saying that. Look, I'm not saying these people are basically homeless, right? The worst thing about
in California.
Yes. Well, homeless in California and homeless with a lot of money, right? They have means. They're not. I don't believe anybody's sleeping on a bench tonight in some park or camping out on the beach. I don't believe that, but maybe. But what I was going to say is, when you have a house fire, my parents' house burned down. You lose. It's not the things because you can replace the things. It's the non-replaceables. It's the pictures. It's the years. It's the generations.
Right.
It may even just be the wall where you mark the height of your kid. You know what I'm saying? To all the way up, or the grandkids or generations. Because if some of those homes could be generations, now you go to try to rebuild something, and I wonder how hard they'll make it because it's on the coast. Environmentals get involved. I know just putting a deck on your house sometimes. I remember doing one in a neighboring town to where we are now in New York State, and I had them out visiting me daily when I put up.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. Well, I give you my whole stories because right now, I mean, unfortunately, unfortunate that my house not being affected by fires because I have some construction that's finally happening on my house after so much back and forth with the Department of Building and Safety that it's crazy the hoops I had to go through to get getting this new garage that I'm getting, and also getting this this pergola put up in the back of my house and everything.
Pergola in the back of your house, which they've got and how long did it take you?
Oh, it was like, I think I'm trying to remember, it was like 5 months maybe, all this stuff sorted with changing designs, the architecture things, and then it's one department after another, and so it's a thing where it goes to one department after another, like another department needs it, and the next department has really no record of what the previous one had, so it's like me doing it all myself. And because the interesting thing is my day job actually is collecting releases for unscripted TV program. So I'm one that does this.
Okay.
And my thought is if my process was ever similar to how the city did that, taking 4 months to get this appearance release of this person at the shoot we did. I mean, I would be out of a job. That it couldn't work like that.
No, Aaron. So Aaron, I'm so happy that you just that you could relate to this experience.
So happy you're miserable about your garage.
No. That isn't what I'm saying. That isn't what I meant. But what Aaron's saying is there's so much bureaucracy. Oh, yeah. Why you want to cut your budget? Cut some of that shit out. Why do we need all that? The guy's put up a pergola in his backyard. I remember having when I put I bought a house. It had what you would call like a solarium. It was one of those kits, glass house, right? It was all popping out plastic. So ripped it down, and I wanted to build an actual structure with a roof. I had to go through plans, present it to the board, do all this, and I'm going, I thought that was a lot. I can only imagine what you got to do in LA.
Oh yeah. I mean, and then the thing was, because it was the garage and the pergola, and because they just started on the pergola after doing the garage, and for a second the LA Department of Building and Safety said there was no permit for the pergola, which no, it was there, but that was just some dislocation, and then we were good. But that was a scare for a second.
And how much does that cost? How much does all that cost, Aaron?
5 months of time. You just said it.
No, there's also
like the what the price for the permits?
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember. It's maybe like 1,000 or so.
Yeah,
75 for me to put a shed in my backyard. I'm just
saying, it's a pain in the butt, and they charge.
It is, it's crazy,
and they're taking money, and they're slowing down progress, and they're not letting people. And now you've got people with a ton of money in a blue state that lost their houses. Let them have to go through this to try to build back their house, and they're going to fucking lose their minds. That's what I think.
I think you're right. Yeah, we'll see what happens with the process. I do wonder though. I guess sometimes I like to be a glass half full person, because there are some good things that they require with LA permits. Especially for someone like me who's green. That is interesting when I say for the garage, I want an electric car charging station. They tell me, well, actually, that's required that you have to have the 220 line in there, and new houses, they have to have solar panels. So it will be interesting to see, are they going to make new requirements now for building that are make it safer in the fires?
That would be great, and I understand that. And I'm not saying all the regulations are bad. That I don't mean that. And no. I'll say this: I also wouldn't want to live in a neighborhood where anybody could just throw up any shoddy piece of shit and call it home. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I am a little bit for the zoning stuff.
You need some rules. We're not proposing a no rule situation put up wherever you want.
But if you got a guy that figured it out, like you were saying, the waste management guy with the fire resistant roof, the stucco, it's like that guy from the hurricane that had the ratchet straps. We were talking about him.
Yes.
If that works.
Yes. That was so funny.
Why do we not look at these things? If it works.
I don't know. I don't know why we don't look at them.
I hope we do, certainly. I hope the city of LA pays attention to that.
But to hear that it took them 4 months or 5 months just to get the permit to break ground on a garage, if I'm out of a home, and I would say probably for even this guy, the $9 million home, they weren't there. Right, that's their whatever escape home to go on vacation at or whatever. But there are people that is their home and has been their home for half a century or more, whatever. And now you got nothing, and just trying to rebuild it and be back on your property and feel like you've got something again. It could take you, I don't know.
It's
3 years.
It's not an easy.
Right.
I mean, it's fires here. My buddy's the fireman.
Yeah.
Typically, you have fire here. It's a year before you even get back into the house with anything starting.
Even to just
getting
clear
the
the
insurance
debris.
stuff and just getting it fixed.
Yeah, I don't remember how long it was for my mom and dad. Probably about that.
It's not as simple. It's not like 2 weekends we're
cranking things out. Don't make it harder.
Because then you got to fight with the insurance company. Well, it was the dehumidifier. Well. Yeah. Was the dehumidifier? No, it was the cord of the dehumidifier. No, it was the connection of the cord. That company, it's their problem. They got to pay for it. It's a mess.
It is.
Yeah, and also because we're focusing a lot. We were talking a lot about the stars up in the Palisades, the lesser homes, but the other areas, for instance, take Santa Clarita. I mean, that's a great middle class area for families. To raise kids and then focus on an area like that. Those aren't celebrities with their New York or Colorado homes. They're a lot of them. That is their house. They worked hard and they bought those places in Santa Clarita,
probably for $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
Or
right.
More.
That's where right, because that north part of LA is now seen where a lot of people are living is more affordable homes in areas like Santa Clarita Valley and Antelope Valley and Simi Valley.
Right, and those more affordable homes, I got to think, are a little bit north of 1 million for the home.
Yes.
So you're busting your ass for that, and you probably don't have the $9 million home in Malibu, right? So that is your home, and it's gone. And now what? And that's crazy. And the thing is, like, when my parents' house burned down, it was just their house. Going to find a hotel. It wasn't the whole street. The whole street. The whole town. Yeah, that's like it's gone. Right. It's just gone. And so where does everybody go? That's the thing. I really appreciate you coming on, Aaron.
Are they saying anything about when they're going to have this under control? Do they have any ideas as to what they're looking at?
I haven't specifically with that. I mean, I think that things are getting better when I look at like air quality getting better and the smaller ones being put out. But yeah, the bigger ones like the Palisades and the Eaton, and knowing people from those areas, that it seems like those are taking more time.
Yeah, I would think Santa Barbara's got to be.
It's those people in California putting ketchup on their hot dogs.
What is the proper way to eat a hot dog, Aaron?
Well, I like ketchup on. I've said in Cleveland we put ketchup on hot dogs.
We do here as well.
Yeah, but it's un-American.
Ketchup, mustard, a little hot sauce.
Well, I will say I have become mustard's a must for me on a hot dog.
Mustard is. I mean, I will agree with that. Because people say to me, well, Aaron, the thing is, mustard is, you want to put your extra things like your ketchup on, sure, but you got to argue that you should at least start with mustard, and yeah, that's true.
It's got to be French's too.
It's
got to be the local mustard.
I would say Coop's mustard, and personally, I want a spicy mustard on there. I'm not a big on the yellow. Yellow's all right, but
yellow is all right, but I like the spicy mustard too. I would usually go with. There's a Nance's mustard.
Yes.
From Nunday, right?
No, Nance's is Rochester.
Oh, it is Rochester?
Nunday is Nunday mustard.
Okay.
I feel like I've heard of Nance's. I'll have to if I'm at one of those food shows that I go to, I have to keep an eye out for that.
Yeah, the hot is really good.
Yeah, they're delicious. But I will just tell you this, that I once got yelled at by when I was married. And maybe rightfully so. I can't argue with this, but I didn't realize what I was saying. And my sister-in-law is from the Philippines. So her child is Filipino-American because my brother-in-law is very American, Irish-American. And the kid put ketchup, and I go, that's un-American to do that. And I got scolded for saying that to the kid because he's, they would go back to the Philippines and stuff. And I'm like, oh, yeah.
It's always you with a joke, isn't it?
Well, it wasn't a joke. I was serious.
Guy.
Putting ketchup on a hot dog. At least don't put it on first, unless you live in Cleveland, I guess. I don't know.
Well, I would. I mean, I don't know if I put it on first, but just it goes on. But yeah, it's one of those debates. Ketchup on hot dog. You do the mayo on Italian sandwiches. There's this debate.
You do the ring of mustard around the dog.
Yeah.
Then if you want some relish. Yeah. That goes on last, but then the ketchup goes right over the top.
Yeah.
And then the relish.
Okay. And
then a little hot sauce.
All right. Kevin's got it down.
You don't look like me if you don't know how to eat a hot
dog. Aaron, been in some hot dog eating competitions?
No.
That would be. Aaron, before we wrap this up, I just want to go. What is your day job? You were saying you go for.
Oh yeah, so I'm manager of clearances for Endemol Shine North America. We're the company behind such shows as Lego Masters and MasterChef, Deal or No Deal Island, Extreme Makeover
Deal
Home
or
Edition,
No Deal Island. I just saw. I didn't even know that it was out. I just saw that it's on Peacock.
Second season.
You're right. Yeah. We after the episodes air on NBC, then we show them on Peacock.
Okay. And so, what is your job?
So I'm the manager of clearances. So basically, it's making sure that there's releases for everything. So I work a lot with any kind of third-party footage and photos, making sure that we have that released, obtaining all the appearance releases for people and photos and background of shoots, location permits, and then approving just any kind of intellectual property, like when we come up with challenge names and set designs, making sure that that all of that is good. I'm essentially a liaison between the production department and the legal department. I'm not an attorney, but I just come from a background working in TV. I looked for a way to advance and found this job doing that kind of work. And I certainly anything that comes outside of my knowledge, I have attorneys I consult with.
Yeah, it sounds like you're very detail oriented because those releases are a huge deal, and if one's missed, you are open to a lawsuit, and that's why it's like you got to sign all these forms. If you ever do a game show, there's a ton of those, and this is what he's talking about, right? It's that sort of thing.
Right, exactly.
Coming soon, though, Firefighter Island. Once all the fires are out.
We don't need you, NYPD or FNYD or whatever it was. My grandfather was a FDNY. But yeah, in the Bronx. So yeah, those are big fires. They're well trained. I don't even know if they could actually spare the guys, right? With just general what happens in the winter down there. Arron, it's been a pleasure talking to you. I really appreciate you giving us your time on a Friday afternoon for you. It's a Friday evening for us.
And the answer for One's Gotta Go is Cheez-Its this week.
What's that?
It's a game.
It's I'm known for this. There's that popular internet meme, One's Gotta Go. And what happened was I started seeing a bunch of them and saying, I don't quite like how these are. I would rewrite them. I'd Photoshop them a little to change a couple options. And then suddenly I came up with like my own that no one had done before. And it always seemed to be Friday that I was posting them. So I started this tradition 5-6 years ago called One's Gotta Go Friday. I have 4 its up and you have to say what you want to get rid of. So today it was snack crackers. You want to get rid of the saltines, the Ritz, the Cheez-It, or the fish or the goldfish crackers.
Oh, I might have to do the goldfish.
No, there's so many flavors of goldfish. You can't get rid of all the goldfish.
What do you mean?
Cheez-It you can get rid of. You can't get rid of saltines because of soup.
Yeah.
You can't get rid of Ritz because of crackers and cheese.
Right. Well, I'm a big cracker and cheese
goldfish,
person.
I love the pizza goldfish. Cheez-Its I like, but I can go without Cheez-Its.
I've never had the pizza goldfish.
Yeah, I mean, they're all good. It is one of those that it's like, I don't really want to eliminate anyone. I don't know. To me, goldfish are a little gimmicky. Someone said it's just kind of like a Cheez-It, but shaped like a goldfish, and Cheez-It have a little more cheese in them. So I would choose that between the two.
Yeah.
I just like goldfish because there's a plethora of flavors.
Yes, I did not.
Hey, they're not bad. This isn't one where it's like, where there's one where I say like, 3 are great and the other one sucks. Sometimes they're
T-bone. It's a T-bone, chicken breast, and then liver.
Well, Arron, check out I wanted to call it the promiscuous omnivore, and I know that it wasn't the name of it, and I apologize. I'm so sorry. What is the name of it?
It's the appropriate omnivore. Oh,
I was the inappropriate omnivore. I knew I was on to something, Arron. That's the thing. The appropriate omnivore. It's really interesting. It's just all about food.
Yes, right. About food from a consumer's point of view. So I let people know about the best products that are on the market. Yeah.
All right. Well, very good. I really appreciate it. Stay safe. And I hope the LA doesn't give you any more headaches with the permits.
Yeah. Well, for the project I'm doing now, it's all been approved. So good with that. And we'll see what the future holds. All right. Well, thank you again. And Kevin, a good connection. Absolutely. I would never believed you knew somebody in LA. I know a few people in LA. All right. Arron Zober. That's how I stay sober when I'm drunk. I'm sober, I swear. Last time he was in Cleveland, he was definitely not sober. Oh yeah. That was a Facebook post. I remember when Zober isn't sober. Bill either. Last time he was there. Yeah, no, probably not. Definitely not. Top of the stadium for the Rolling Stones. Oh, God, that's right. I totally forgot. Passed out in the stands. Lovely. Arron, thank you for your time. Thank you. It's been a pleasure. We will, well, stay safe, Los Angeles. I don't know. I'm confused by all of it. I'm sure there's many things to be said, but hopefully we cleared a little bit of it up. I don't know. Absolutely. For Kevin Muir, for Arron Zober, I'm Bill Moran. We'll see you Monday. Tell that judge he make us feel. My title had to wait. Down here they're looking for a Cadillac with Tennessee.